Hi guys, now we're lucky enough to have two cars in our household. We've got the Leaf, of course, which you're very familiar with. We've had two over the last 3 years. Our other car is the Mini Cooper S. Now, the Leaf gets 75, maybe 80% of the miles we do a year piled on it. It does all the boring stuff like the trips to the shop, work and back, picking my daughter up from yet another after school club. You get the idea, the boring commuter type stuff. Now, I like to just go for a drive, find a nice twisty road somewhere and put my foot down, and that's me done for an hour or two. I find that really enjoyable and it's a way of unwinding. But then it dawned on me, why do I always choose this car or one of its predecessors over the electric car? No matter what electric car I have access to at the time, I always pick the petrol one. So when it comes to fun journeys, why is that? Now, let me be very clear, I am not comparing a Mini Cooper S to a Nissan Leaf. They are completely different cars designed for very different purposes. But my point is, no matter what car I have access to at the time, Tesla, Leaf, BMW i3, any of that, I will always pick something like the Mini, the petrol version basically, on an enjoyable trip, on a fun, twisty journey. For example, if they did a full electric Mini Cooper S, and a petrol one, if someone said, right, you can have either one of those for a few days to hoon around in, I would pick the petrol one. And this is my point. What are EVs missing that makes me always choose that for purely fun purposes? I mean, I've spent the last few years pushing EVs on my YouTube channel, so it's not like I'm anti-EV. I recognise how good they are, how efficient they are, how brilliant they are in traffic. But when it comes to fun, I don't know, are they missing something? Are they missing a soul, as it were? Now, in a few weeks, I'll be doing Scotland's North Coast 500 again for the third time, which, quite frankly, is probably the best driving route across anywhere in Europe. If you don't know what it is, Google it, but it's fantastic in almost every respect, and I recommend you do it. Now, the first time we did the North Coast 500 was in a Tesla Model S. The second time was in the Mini. Now, this time round, we have the option of pretty much any Tesla, Zoe, the Leaf, of course, the BMW i3, which is probably about as close as you're going to get in Mini terms, I guess, for the electric car. But even if someone gave me the option of an I-Pace, although I'd love to drive one, for this specific holiday that I'm having, nothing to do with the channel, I'm still going to pick the Mini. And I'm not going to pick the Mini because it's a Mini, I'm picking it because it's got something which an electric car doesn't have. And that's this, I can't think of the word, the soul I keep mentioning, dare I use the phrase, the X factor? Excuse me, anytime I say that word, it just makes me want to gip. But you get my point. There are a few things missing, and I have a theory that there are two key factors of why a car nut, maybe an ex-petrol head, but a car nut, will miss things when everybody eventually switches over to an electric car. Now, the first part of my theory is the fact that there is a lack of driver involvement in most electric cars. Maybe all electric cars, to be honest. This Leaf is a typical example. There are no gears. It's not an automatic gearbox. There are just no gears. It's just one continuous forward gear. There's no rev range you need to hit at the right point. It's just point and shoot. You might as well be driving with an Xbox controller or a PlayStation 4 controller. It's not as involving. It's not as engaging as a petrol car with a proper manual gearbox would be. Now, a lot of people might not be bothered about that, but when you're going for a proper drive on really nice roads, you want to be involved, you want to be changing gears, you want to try and hit the right rev range. You go on a track day and you get it just right, it's the best feeling in the world. So I guess EVs do take a little bit away from the man and machine working in harmony sort of thing. I mean, it's all completely childish, but you get my point. If you think of a car as just a means of getting from A to B, this won't mean anything to you, and is probably why you prefer an electric car. The second part of my theory is noise, or lack of noise. To highlight this, I'm going to take this out over the twisty country roads nearby, and then I'm going to take the Mini out. And you'll probably just see the difference in the smile on my face. Right, here we go. Silently does it. Now imagine I was in a carbon copy of the Mini Cooper S, but in electric form. On paper, it should be fantastic. It should be better than the petrol one. You've got the instant torque. I don't have to worry about changing gears. I'm always going to hit the right rev range, so to speak, because there are no gears to change. But is that lack of involvement just what's missing? slow down, no changing gear, just pressing the brake pedal. Nice and efficient, but kind of boring. Ooh. You know what? For something that looks like the Leaf, you've got the instant torque. It's not actually that bad. It's not boring. It's just not as much fun as the other cars, as a good petrol car. And I'd be saying the same in a Tesla. I'd be saying the same in an I-Pace. Once you got over the novelty of the fact that you're in a brand new Jaguar I-Pace, I think it would just become another. They're very similar, aren't they, electric cars to drive? All of them. The power delivery is very similar. There's no noise with any of them, so there's no different engine note to think about like there is with a petrol car. You can't upgrade them. You can't tinker with them. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's a very good point actually. What are the local chaps going to be upgrading? What are they going to stick a 4-inch exhaust on once everything's electric? It's like watching a film, like a big blockbuster at the cinemas, but then someone muting the audio. You're kind of missing out on half of the experience of what the film's giving you. Efficient isn't always fun. No one has efficient sex, do they? Maybe petrol cars are going to become the plaything, the weekend car. You know, I think I've got a good analogy for an electric car. It's like going on holiday to Germany. The food will be nice, the people will be nice, public transport will run on time, everything will be spotlessly clean. But typically people don't go to Germany on holiday. They go to a crappy resort in Spain. Typically the food will be mediocre at best, the rooms won't be particularly tidy, the public transport will be non-existent, but people still choose Spain over something like Germany. And I know people go to Germany, but you get my point. People, I think, like imperfection. It's like the Matrix. No one's happy if everything's perfect. Now I think it's time to jump in the Mini and have a bit of fun in that to see what it might be that I'm missing. Sports mode. Okay, let's take this bad boy out and see what happens. Now, of course, the first thing I have to do, which you don't in an EV, is wait for the thing to warm up before I rag it. So these are the things that EVs are far better at, and there are more things that an electric car is better at in efficiency and just on paper terms than a petrol car is. I'm not denying that. That's why I have a YouTube channel pushing electric cars. Because it's like eating fruit and vegetables. On paper, in your head, you know it's what you should be eating. But sometimes you just want some sticky toffee pudding. Oh, come on then, go, go, go. State of British roads, eh? This is fun. No, see you. Oh no, come on! Come on now. Pop, 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 pop. Yes, the exhaust does pop and bang as standard because I'm a child. And that's the way I expect it. Just a bit more to do. If you just change gear at the right point and get it spot on, especially on a track, it's just brilliant. Now I'm not exactly sure if I've got across in the video what exactly I'm trying to convey here, but ultimately I think there is definitely something missing from an electric car. Even if you get something like the Tesla Roadster that's coming up, which is going to be biblically fast and probably great at handling and a fantastic car all round, I just think it's going to be missing something that other cars of its type, you know, I know Jaguar F-Type, SVR, that sort of thing, they have something. They have X Factor. Ooh, I hate using the X Factor word. I'm sorry. But yeah, you get my point. It's something I think only, say, my generation and any previous ones would really be bothered about. My daughter's generation maybe, but if she has kids, I'm guessing they probably won't really know petrol engines well enough to miss them in the same way that we might. I'm not bothered about paying extra to use fuel in that ridiculously inefficient way, because it's fun in the same way that, I don't know, going on holiday is inefficient, but it's fun. Having a pudding that's really bad for you is inefficient for your body, but it's fun. My favourite comment that people make about petrol cars is that noise is just wasted energy. Farting is wasted energy, but it's still funny. It's something I think that the car nut is going to mourn when it finally does come to pass, when they finally disappear. So we might as well embrace the EV revolution than try and fight it. It's on its way. Let's try and make them as good as possible. For now, well, we'll just have to have a bit of fun with what we have, eh? Now, I anticipate that this is going to divide the comments. I think some people are going to think I'm a blithering idiot and a raving lunatic, and I think some people will think, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So let me know in the comments, do you think electric cars are all you need? Are they just as much fun as a petrol one? Or do you think that I'm right and that we are going to miss this involvement, this noise? Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye. I'm going to have some fun now.